Hey, 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 hey! How y'all doing? I'm back off of location in Florida. Back at home base. Welcoming all of y'all. Come on in the chat. Let me know you're here so I can say hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to Ask Alma Live. I am Alma, if you didn't know. Yes, that's what my mama named me. Hey! And I'm so glad about it. After my Aunt Emma Van Alma, but that's a whole nother story. Come on in and see us this evening because we have one of the best panels ever. I'm just saying, it really, when I when I ask these friends, hey Bessie, when I ask these friends from way back when, hello, I can't tell y'all how far back because don't nobody want me to tell how far back. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all before I bring this group on. Let me tell y'all, hey Tracy, I loved this group of people. I got such great energy from this group of people. I wanted to be in the center of this group of people so much that I hung out with them all the time that they thought that I too was a student at the University of Maryland. But I wasn't. But I wasn't. And that's okay because it's all about friendships. Come on in here, my friends. Come on in here and join me and say hello, hello. Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, Alma.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, girl.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, Alma.
Hey.
Now, Robin, let me clarify. Robin, you did not go to the University of Maryland. You graduated from Ohio
University.
That's right. Hi, Pat Walker. And where is that in Ohio?
Athens, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio. But everybody knows.
Appalachians, up in the mountains.
Yes.
Been there.
Hey, Gail. That's my cousin Gail. So Robin and I are not. We didn't go to the University of Maryland when these guys, Dee, Vanessa, and Greg went there. But let me tell you, I hope Kevin Johnson is watching and just everybody who used to be in that crowd at NABJ. It was just the best crowd. When you were hanging out with them, oh my gosh, you had so much fun. You went to every party and it was just great, let me say. But I'm not going to tell y'all what year that was. Anyway, how is everybody doing? How are you guys doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
They're good.
Yeah, wonderful.
Doing great.
Wonderful.
You're talking about us at the parties. We trained at the atrium. The sweaty room inside of the student union. That's where we trained to party. That's where we learned how to navigate NABJ.
Yep. And the best parties were like who? Kappas, Sigmas, Alphas, which ones?
It didn't matter.
They did the best.
It didn't matter. We just went.
Okay. So I didn't go. I want to make that clear. I wasn't at the parties. I just want to disclaimer.
Oh wait,
everybody knows.
Is your mom
a good girl?
That's right. Just clear that up right now. I was not at the parties.
In the library. You were in the library.
She was putting up the paper. That's what she was doing.
Vanessa was in the library.
I was at every party.
Oh, don't bring up that paper. Oh my gosh.
Oh, please don't.
Let's not go down that road.
I didn't go in any details. I just said you were putting it out.
Hi, Mary Lou. Hey, you guys, I do have to do a disclaimer. I want to let everybody know we are not psychologists, but we do have a PhD in common sense. I'm just saying.
Right.
So,
most days.
You want to know exactly most days. If you would like sage common sense advice, Darren Snyder. He's
Mr.
married
Howard.
to somebody on the panel.
Who could that be?
Shout out to Vanessa's husband, Darren. Hey, Darren.
Who also worked with us in the business.
Yes, he also worked with us too. That's right. He sure
me
did.
in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the sports section. We welcome questions. I want to remind everybody that this is a production of NNPA, Black Press USA, couple of things that I always forget to say every week that I'm trying to remind myself to put it out there. Like, email me questions, y'all. Y'all watching? You hear the questions every week? Email me questions. I'd appreciate it. We can work with it a little bit. You know, you can start off with, is my husband crazy? And I'm going to reply, what was the last thing he did? Like, it's okay. Like, we can do a conversation back and forth, figure out the meat of the question and work that out. And the other thing is you can reach me at alwaysask.alma@gmail.com. That is always ask Alma. Isn't that easy? Kind of catchy. Always ask Alma. Because you know you should. Like, ask me first.
And we
always ask
for the last 40 years.
Always ask Alma.
What would Alma say?
What would Alma do?
Bracelets.
What would Alma do?
What would Alma do?
We need those mugs so we can drink from those when we're on the panel.
Yes.
Always ask Alma@gmail.com. Thank you very much. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and all those
Instagram
resources.
Yes.
I'm not on Instagram. Like, I am, but I'm not.
You're not
I'm on it. I'm on it, but I'm not even gonna lie. I don't get it. Antoine, how you doing? Antoine was at USA Today with us too, but he's a baby.
But
like,
Auntie,
he was
Alma?
there. He was there after we had all grown up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in mentor status then. Yes, people were actually asking us questions. Everybody go, was he asking me? Was he talking to me? So thank you guys for being here. I just want to throw one thing out before we get started. Hello to everybody. Y'all know I couldn't see your names last week, so I'm just happy to see everybody's name pop up. Hello. Alvin. Twitter is so angry. Why, Alvin? Is it because of what I want to mention? Okay. Did y'all read? Did y'all hear about Naomi Campbell having a baby at 50?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm not
trying.
No. Let's correct that. Let's correct that.
Okay.
She's a mother at 50.
Okay.
I thought they said she gave birth. I know, girl. I thought
I didn't see that on
birth through a surrogate. So it was that second sentence that I missed.
Okay.
It was like the Handmaid's Tale thing. You know, have you seen the Handmaid's Tale? Yeah.
Sadly,
like
while I was on vacation and I didn't like the 2 episodes that Mary Lord's Price made me sit through. I was like, girl,
I like that show.
Elvis says he heard that she gave birth.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, I heard she gave birth.
Can somebody Google it for us, please?
Google the story. Get the facts.
Put on USA Today.
Google.
Can somebody Google
Pat
it?
Walker, can you let us know? Pat, let us know.
Let us know. So we know what we're talking about.
So look, ladies.
You know what?
We're of a certain age now. All right, and my brother had a child at age 50. Would you do it all over now? Even if you could.
What, have a baby at 50?
Yeah.
Baby at 50?
Okay, you know what? Let me I'm just gonna say this and then I'm gonna sit back and let the ladies. I had difficulty having a baby. No shade. God bless all of us who went through it. But if you handed me one at 50, I'd have to say thank you. No, thank you. I don't have the energy for my granddaughter. I can't even imagine. Barbara Woods Henderson. That is Jackie Henderson's
mother.
Beautiful mama. Hi, Jackie. Mama. Yes.
Listen, my baby announcement would be on the front page of the paper. I mean, that would not. It'd be like, woman leaped off Woodrow Wilson Bridge.
That's not a baby announcement, D. That's not a baby announcement.
That would be the baby announcement.
Do you all remember how big Dee was when she was pregnant? Oh my God. Dee's stomach was so big. You would have thought she was carrying triplets.
I was more than one. I remember we all know Gary Rollins. I turned the corner one day and Gary Rollins said, "You look like a Winnebago."
Oh no, that's a horrible thing to say.
Because
he would have said it.
Yeah, he would have said it, and he was right. Like, I really couldn't be angry with him. I thought I had twins. I really did. I really did think I was having a multiple birth. But this is not about me.
Josh weighed like what?
Josh is mine.
5 pounds.
She's
Oh, I'm
Alma's,
sorry.
right.
And that's
Wrong
okay.
name. I'm sorry.
And
How big was
much?
it? G?
How big was Trey?
Trey was 7'14", 7'12",
Okay.
and I remember thinking, laying in the bed, okay, well, there's 7 pounds of baby, and then 10 pounds are gonna fall off right away, and trying to figure out how much weight I was gonna take home with me.
I thought that
And
too.
it was still a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember
It was a
asking
whole
the
lot.
doctor. I was like, y'all left some weight up in there. Can you go back up in there and take that
But
out?
that's not how it works, Alma. Don't work that way.
Can you take
Yeah,
y'all
I was
missed some.
enormous.
Y'all
I was
missed a little bit.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other night. You know, I just love the little ooba dooba dooba babies and holding them. But and I was when I saw this with what's her name, Naomi. I was thinking, you know, even if I could give birth, I would need a patron. I would need a whole staff.
yes.
I would
baby.
have to be like on TV.
Yes.
You hand the baby off to the nurse,
Yes.
and she
While
goes.
you lay back.
Yeah, but
And have somebody wipe your brow.
Listen.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but I mean, I think about our grandparents, right? And my grandmother had 13. She was having babies from age like 18 to like 45 or
Right.
50 even.
Right.
And my grandfather was like, I don't know, he was like what, 50 with his last child. So I mean, it's not that unusual. I mean, our grandparents had.
It's not unusual for women. It's not unusual for men. I know a man that had produced a baby at 60. You all can keep doing it until you're done.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Pat says that it doesn't say how the baby came into the world.
But
Thank
grandma had
But
older children to help.
yeah,
exactly.
and they were assigned.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing that is a little bit different now from then. Back then, you did everything. Like if you were a child, you did everything. You cooked, you cleaned, you helped, you did babysitting, you did whatever.
Yes.
Now people don't want to upset their kids by asking them to take the trash out, which I totally don't understand. But it's like my mom said, because in my mom's family, it was 10, 5 girls, 5 boys. And she said each girl was assigned a boy.
Wow.
The girls came first, and then my grandmother had boys. And she said each one was assigned. Grandma, said, okay, that one. And then you had to help with that one. You had to assist with that one. My grandmother was a school teacher. Like she went to work. My grandfather had a grocery store and all this other stuff. But it wasn't like now where some people don't ask. Because Dee, you were talking about that one time, saying you didn't want Trey to be the older kid who, when we were talking about, having to do stuff for a younger kid. And I can remember I spent a lot of time with my big sister. A lot of time. Yeah. More time than she wanted.
I think it's good and healthy for them. What I was saying at the time was I didn't think it was their responsibility. Yeah. And it's a very different time then, because there's some parents that have kids and make their older kids their parent. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's fair. But I think there's always a time when it's necessary. My mother's one of 9, and she was the only girl. So, when my grandfather died, my grandmother went to work. My mom became the housewife. She became the person. She still can't cook for one person.
Wow.
And all of her siblings are gone because she was so accustomed to taking care of everyone. But that was her job.
I saw that what Pat Walkup just commented where not Pat Walkup, but where Naomi said, a beautiful little blessing has chosen me to be her mother. So maybe surrogacy. I don't know. Like I didn't know.
That doesn't sound like adoption to me. I thought little angels chose you.
Maybe I watched too much Hallmark. I was thinking the same thing.
I just think everybody's different, in terms of when those motherhood genes wake up. A lot of times you've been doing your career, you're a celebrity, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I meant to become a mother, so I guess I'll do that now. So I just think it's your mindset. Right. I personally, that I'm done with that, but I think it just depends on, where you are in your life. I don't have a problem with it. If you want to do one at 50,
I wish I had that energy. I wish I had it. Andrea said,
but relatively speaking,
everywhere. Absolutely, I remember. I was with you and your little brother.
Right.
Hey, girl.
Relatively speaking, I had my son late.
How old
so
were you,
all of the
Deidre?
things. I was 33. which, for most people, that's late.
I was a little bit late.
I was happy. I was happy to do it then. I just can't imagine at this age having a baby. Now, the only thing I'm concerned about is being 55, 60 years old, having a child, knowing that child may be left alone.
That's what I think.
Particularly if it's one child, because, obviously you're not going to live forever, and you have a, 10-year-old with a 70-year-old mother.
Yeah.
That would concern me. But, she can make sure that's all in place, so I'm not worried about that.
It's actually kind of a funny thing because
we'll be on snapped.
Because our parents, I mean, they were actually married at like 18. They had all of the kids by 24, 25. Right. And it's like we were a college generation. We're like, go get, educated, a good job. So, I mean, we were like actually parents around, 30, 28, 29, 30.
My mother had me at 40, and she let me know it was a mistake.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear.
You were a blessing, but she didn't pray for it.
I don't recall her using that word, Dee, but thank you very much. You know what? I knew this was going to be a great crowd. Okay, so you guys, we got to get started a little bit, and we are going to pray for you, Naomi.
Right now?
Yes, right now.
Oh, Father, bless her.
Lord God.
Her strength, Father. Give her the energy she will need.
Yes.
I know that's right.
And call Janet and see how that thing worked out. But
now she better call up Alma in a few years and learn all about it.
So you guys, let's get started. We have some fantastic questions tonight. So let's hear question number 1.
Hi, I'm Kim Gibson, and I am Ask Alma's volunteer video recorder today. Dear Alma, people say that the pandemic shows who cares about you and who doesn't. I'm distraught at what I've seen happen between my nephews and their great aunt, who I look after. She is 93 and in good shape, but has mainly been at home this entire time. My nephews have not called or visited her once, not even through the screen door. One of them occasionally sends cookies. The other one has been completely absent. My aunt played an active role in their upbringing. She paid their college tuition and bought them each cars, and was their babysitter when they were small. She wanted to do it, but they don't seem to feel any obligation to her now. I've told my brother that it would be nice for her to hear from them, and he agrees that it would be. But because he doesn't like confrontation, I know he won't make them act. His wife has also ignored my aunt since the pandemic, so there's no point in asking her to intervene. This tells me that I won't be able to count on my nephews either when I get old, and it's made me rethink my plans to have them as my heirs someday. Do you think that I should talk to them, or just let the situation speak for itself?
Thank you, Kim. That's my family. That is Ava's other grandmother, who is our VVR for the evening. Thank you. So to recap, this woman, her aunt, who is 90-something, who did more than what was expected for her nephews, not her sons. She too is an aunt. Hi, Kay. These nephews, she purchased a car for them. She paid for their college education. She's been on lockdown all this time with COVID, and not one of them has come over to say hello or check on her or see how she's doing. And so the aunt that doesn't have kids also had them as her beneficiaries, but has a little bit of a concern about, are they spoiled? Are they clueless? What do you guys?
Well, look,
Okay. Can I say one word first?
Go ahead.
Trifling.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg.
I try not to use that word a lot, but
the end, period.
You cannot give people manners. You are either raised right or you're not. Right. So if I was like her reach out to them one time, you know, I'm a little bit concerned. They might have a busy life, or jobs, family, etc. Ask them, and if they don't respond, let it go and leave that money to somebody else.
Well, she said, the letter writer says, should I talk to them? So it sounds like that she hasn't expressed or even said that there's a problem. But you can't buy people's attention or love. That she's been buying cars and paying tuition, and they've been driving those cars and going to college. Like, we don't really know if they ever spoke to her. So there would be something different. There would be nothing different. Now it's awful. But I don't know if they never did it. Of course, they're not going to do it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Somebody needs to talk to them.
Yeah, somebody.
There needs to be an extensive conversation about this. I mean, you can help people out. No, they need to be helped out, even if it doesn't change anything. It needs to be a clear conversation of the triflingness. It needs to be.
And you know what? I always come to the defense of the young people, only because, honestly, but like until I turned maybe 28, I was clueless too. Yeah, it took a long time for me to get it, and I didn't even know I was clueless. Like older people would say stuff to me, and I would be like, okay.
I mean, right.
And it was just gone. Like I just didn't even get it.
And that's why they should be talked to, because they are still in that age where you kind of really self-absorbed, and maybe it is just swoosh going right over their heads. So somebody needs to help them out. So,
I think include in that conversation instruction. Because people talk to me, and again, I was like, okay, like my father. You say Alma. People like listeners more than they like talkers. I go, really? Okay, then. But let me tell you what happened the other day. Like clueless, clueless. At 30-something,
it sounds like that their father is part of the problem. I mean, he apparently hasn't talked to them about anything, because she addressed him and said, talk to your sons about having a relationship with their great aunt, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't want conflict.
Yeah, well, because I'm kind of looking at this at a different angle. She kind of stressed that I gave them this, I gave them that, and you can't buy love.
Right.
Now, the auntie, the older woman, gave all of those things.
Yeah, but is like she expecting them to love her because of all of these things. She could be an awful person. She could be a bore. There might be a reason why they don't want to be bothered with her. And I've seen older people use money as a control and as a tether. So that might be there, but not actually stated in that letter. That's all.
Right. I saw a little bit of that too, Greg. And they're saying she did this and did this and did this. And I get it. But when you're on the receiving end, are people doing stuff for you because they care about you and they love you? Or are they doing stuff for you so you can come over and clean and take out their trash and do stuff for them? So, yeah.
And sometimes there's that expectation. Well, my aunt's rich. She doesn't have kids. She should give me gifts. I should be able to get things
people
from her.
People aren't just giving cars.
People,
and tuition.
It depends.
Tuition for two.
Well, we know Robin.
No,
we know you are not doing that. We know that.
Okay, let's say a grandparent paying a tuition for their grandchildren is perfectly. That happens.
No, all of that is nice. Right. All of it is quite often done. But what I'm saying is that those kids had to know that Auntie was very generous.
Right.
They had to know that.
Yes.
But that still doesn't make it click for them. I'm in agreement with a lot of people. It still doesn't make it click for them until maybe 30.
Right. So that's why our job. Right. That's why our job is to help them out.
Right.
And she needs to talk to them. She needs to talk to them.
Yeah.
Not in an accusatory way.
Right.
But to, throw it out as a conversation and see what they have to say.
Well, what I find is, as a father is I plan things with them. So she's kind of like sitting back there passively saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for them." So, ask them out to like eat or something, have an activity. I mean, even at 90, a day in the park or something. That's what I think. I mean, I don't wait for others to like entertain me or love me. I put it out. And if you put it out, it's going to come back to you.
Yeah, but let's keep this in context of COVID.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Alma was in 93, and maybe there's another thing. Maybe the kids said, because one of them sent her cookies. So maybe they said, I'm not vaccinated. Ain't no reason for me to roll up on Auntie. She's 93 years old. Who knows what I could be giving off to her?
You can call them.
Right.
You can, but they don't explain any of that. And that aunt who's raising this question, maybe she doesn't know it. That's why she should ask them or talk to them directly.
She may not know anything about the phone call. She may not know anything about the other things that are happening, or if they're communicating with her at all. She's basing her letter on what she sees or what she might be being told by other people.
Good point.
I like what Dana says. They may be following the lead of their father.
Well, that's a problem.
And their mother, yes.
A problem.
But one of them sent cookies, and I will take a cookie, a brownie any day. Like,
I want you a car, Greg. I want more than cookies. I want you a car.
I still think,
well, Kim says that the writer said
something. That's
that they haven't called.
The writer, Kim says that the writer said that they hadn't called.
They sent cookies.
But there's cookies. It's
cookies.
Hey. Right. Yeah. Younger people don't know that the phone works for voice calls.
That's
so
true. I text my son, he answers me. I call him and he doesn't answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I go, answer the phone.
My mother at 80 started texting, and I thought my son, it was the happiest I had ever seen my son, because he could communicate with her and not have to actually dial the phone.
I thought it was funny. I called Ava from Florida. And she was like, Grandma, I only have 3% energy. I'm like, can I talk to you later? I was like, are you kidding me?
I've been watching videos. I've been watching videos, Grandma.
Right.
I'll catch you later.
Using up my energy. I need to use this to play Roblox or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
So she's like, I miss you, Grandma. Like, bye.
He sent Girl Scout cookies that he didn't like.
Not nice.
That is ugly.
That's
like, I don't eat these.
No, we are not going to assume that. No.
Dosey knows all the way. Dosey knows.
That was a good one. So
I'm going to speak up for parents. There's a lot of us who try to teach our kids when they get a birthday gift, write a thank you card, all that kind of stuff. But there are really some people who don't focus on the more sophisticated
etiquette.
Yes. For themselves, let alone their kids. And that goes all along with your kid is standing right there. You say hi to the child who's standing right beside the parent. And the child just looks at you, and you're looking at the parent like,
but you know
hear me say hello?
Yeah, but I also think that goes along with the new fear culture that we have. Be afraid of everybody. It really does. It's like, what do they call it? It's stranger danger.
Stranger danger.
Most kids don't know who we are. We might know the parent, but the kid doesn't know us.
But if I offer them something, they come right up to
me.
The speaking I expect. I don't like when people tell their children to hug someone or kiss someone, go give somebody a kiss. I don't like that. But speaking, I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Unless it's a relative. Unless it's a relative, right? Not even with like a grandparent.
I think children should naturally reach out to people that are comfortable with and hug and kiss or any kind of affection. I don't think kids should be forced to do that, because there's some reason. Kids know often more than we do. There's some reason why your child won't talk to Aunt Mary.
Because she crazy.
Or screams every time Uncle Joe looks at her, right?
Because she got that lipstick all the way. And those hot
So I wanted to like ask all of you, are our children now more ungrateful than say we were? Because we've actually given our kids
our children, you mean this group or
our
children in general?
literal children?
No, yeah, our children.
Yes.
I mean, I find that they're more entitled now than we were.
Well, that's our fault.
Well, I don't know. You might ask my mom, but God
that.
bless her. She might say that she felt the same way about me. So
Right.
I
think our children are probably setting examples for some of the other children in their generation. And I find, because I spend a lot of time with kids, that they behave out in public. They do crazy stuff at your house, but then they get out and people say, "Oh, your child was so kind, and your son was so polite," and those kinds of things that you don't hear.
Angel in the streets, right?
But when they're in the streets, they are decent human beings. So I would say no. I don't think our kids. I think they have more stuff. I think that I don't know if they necessarily expect it, but they do have more stuff. I didn't have a car until I had a full-time job. But I imagine all of our children here have vehicles.
I had a car at 16.
We ain't talking about you.
I had one in college.
I
had a car.
I had a car in college.
I had one at 16. But I'm not talking about.
I didn't really need a car, but okay.
I think our children are ungrateful for big ticket items. Like, okay, I left home at 18. My parents never made a talk about it. I innately felt like they did a great job. They did their part. Let me go to school. They're paying for school. Let me go to school and get the heck on the road to life.
Right.
And I find that there's a lot of young people who don't have that attitude in this generation, in our children's generations. There's a lot of them that
I think that's being comfortable at home.
They're very comfortable at home.
But I often wonder if I knew then what I know now, would I have hung out a little longer? Like I left my mom's house at 17 too, but if I knew then, I might have stayed a little while till she told me that.
Well, I mean, it's more expensive
and it's harder
now.
to leave now. Yes,
I mean, it's far more. I mean, I rented an apartment at 23 for $450 a month. I mean, a loft. I mean, all brick walls. They went for $450. Rent now is like $1,100, $1,200 and up. Yes. It's just expensive.
It is more difficult.
Yeah, and our wages are not going up high.
When I moved to Maryland, my mother, when I told her we were buying a house and moving to Maryland, she said, "Why? Why so far?" I thought, "Mama, it's an hour door to door. We're good." She was like, "That's a long way, Alma." And I think it depends. Parents, all of my family would tend to continue to live around each other and do things. They still have they have a family night on Monday nights, which is fantastic on Zoom. But I think it depends on all of that. So what are we going to tell this aunt so we can wrap up this question? We think, so we're all in agreement, which we all don't have to agree, but we're all in agreement that she should talk to them, but with direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So talk to them, but with direction. And don't tie the giving into what you expect them to be doing.
I think it was Pat Welkup who said, don't have the conversation, but don't mention the inheritance.
Exactly.
Right. Because they're two different things.
Those are two different things. Right. Yeah. It is. But we appreciate the question. It was a fantastic question. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
So
there it is. Talk to them, but don't bring up the inheritance.
Right. Yeah. Great advice, Pat.
You ought to have her on.
Pat joins us every week. I'm so excited that she does. But maybe when we go to Pat's for dinner, it might be a Tuesday night. We could do Ask Alma from Pat.
Right from her dining room table.
Right from the dining room table. That would be fun. Okay, guys, you guys ready for question number 2?
Can we squeeze in this comment? It says they may only know how to receive things, but don't know how to reciprocate other than to give things, hence the cookies.
Cookies don't equal cars. That's kind of not even there.
Yeah. But I thought the cookies were thoughtful, though.
It is thoughtful, especially if they bake them.
Until Bessie said that they were the Girl Scout
cookies that nobody likes.
All righty. Question number 2. Here we go.
Dear Alma, there is an uncomfortable situation going on in our church, and no one seems to know how to address it. It began when a member of our congregation, who happens to be a lovely woman, won the lottery. Of course, she donated a substantial amount of money to the church. The pastor was pleased, but now it seems that her children are always asked to be lead speakers when it comes to children's activities, and her oldest son has been singing solos for the past 3 weeks. Everything is done online, of course, because of COVID, but these Zoom sessions really give you a voice. Things really hit the fan when recently her mother was honored on Mother's Day. After the ceremony, another person in our congregation started a long list of comments on the church Facebook page, beginning with, "If you have enough money, you can buy the closest seat to the Lord." Many are obviously beginning to feel the same way. I really don't. I think it's unfair to say. So 2 things. 1, how do we handle the donated family? And 2, how do we handle the Facebook post? What would you and your panel suggest?
Cousin, that's my cousin Tracy. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
Unfriend her.
Whoa. Whoa. There was a lot all up in there.
When she said, everyone's face went, ooh.
Church folks behaving badly.
Yeah, that's right.
Now that's new, isn't it?
So I think it's a couple of things wrapped up in here. So does she. Number one, I wanted to ask you guys, and I'm not going to dwell on it, but I knew that I was going to throw this out and ask the panel, what do you guys think about a lottery winner giving money to the church? Like, do you think if you win the lottery, you should take your 10% tithing portion of it and give it to your church?
Why not?
Is the question about like allegedly the idea that gambling is a sin? So
no, that was just me. That was just me.
Oh, okay, no, yeah,
I
would,
absolutely. I mean, you give any other time. Why wouldn't you give then?
Oh, but
exactly.
Are you? But exactly. Is playing the lottery gambling?
Depending on your faith.
Yes.
So
theological
some like frown on it and others don't. It depends. This sounds like a Baptist church.
Hi, Greg.
I'm a Presbyterian, and we will take your money from anywhere. We don't care where your money comes from.
Anywhere.
We will take it.
Okay.
So if the drug dealer is a member, he can play. He can pay his 10%.
Yes.
We don't ask nobody where their money came from.
Okay. All right.
How would you know where the money came from? It's in the plate. How would you even know?
How would you know? Right.
Exactly.
No, if you, I don't think anybody is going to roll that up and just put it in the plate. Like, I do think that everybody is going to put it in an envelope with their name on it, because actually you get your printout at the end of the year for tax purposes. So you need that. Yeah. D, aren't you paying your tithes, girl? Don't you know about that?
I don't know about the receipt at the end of the year. Maybe I'm not enough to get a receipt at the end of the year.
Yes, you get a statement.
Get a receipt at the end of the year.
It's called
from Sister Snyder's church. I got her. I most certainly did get a receipt.
Statement of your giving.
Alvin, did you see that? Greg tried to spray me to clean that up. Get on him about that, Alvin.
But listen, Alma.
Bessie has a comment that says there was a minister who preached against gambling until his wife won the lottery.
And he saw that as a sign from the Lord.
No, right? I need some Jesus.
Me some Jesus. Me some Jesus.
Give what you think you should give.
Give what is laid upon your heart. Right. Okay. So now that is one of her questions. She is like, because this family now who has given all of this money, all of a sudden is at the front of everything.
Right.
So is that fair?
Well, is that absolutely appearance? Not. No. I mean, we don't. It doesn't appear that. I mean, there's always one. There's always one child who does all the solos, no matter no matter who's, which family she belongs to. So is it the appearance of that, or does it just feel like that because the donation obviously was, I'm sure, talked about and recognized? So now everyone connected to that family is, it's like when you buy a white car, you all of a sudden see all the white cars.
Right.
Yeah, but it seemed like there was some timeliness to this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, I mean,
and then her mother was honored on Mother's Day.
The only mother that counts.
The one with the money.
The
only mother that counts.
Who probably doesn't even come every Sunday. Was she a member before or after the money was donated?
That set some folk off right there.
So this is a leadership issue. So
100%.
There needs to be some discussion with the leadership about what is happening and the perception, whether it's right or wrong. And I think the other part of the question was how to handle the Facebook group. So there needs to be a monitor. Whoever monitors the Facebook group, we're not going to have offensive things being posted. That's easy. That's an easy fix. Just find someone to monitor the group. We're not going to be slandering.
And maybe you shouldn't comment on the church Facebook page.
Right.
Just get what's happening.
Right.
And
so that's an easy fix. You can turn off comments.
Sister Jenkins needs to be blocked because we know and we know that she's going to keep bringing it. There's going to be a time where she's
on fire. She's on fire.
Jenkins, I guess you get a front seat of the Lord. She didn't think about that. So we need to not sequester. What's the word?
That was a good one though.
Sequester.
Buy me some. Somebody said, "Buy me some Jesus."
We need to have one of those deaconesses go and tarry with Sister Jenkins for a minute.
Right.
Yeah, we need to have a couple. Got to go in twos. You need a couple deaconesses to go and tarry with her for a little bit.
Yeah. And I'd like to do a shout out to my mom, who was, first lady of the church, who was like, just call me Carolyn, thank you. And when everybody would say, let Alma read it, she would go, well, what about little Tammy over there? I think she can read it too. Because I think there are some associations in the church where people try to, suck up buttercup to certain things when that shouldn't be the case. So I don't even know what to tell
if you are not the soprano. You should not be singing that solo.
What's the answer?
It is leadership.
Yeah,
I think absolutely. I don't know. Is it Placetta Grace? She says, "Let God handle it all."
No. They will be up in there like what, fighting and knocking each other out. No.
You have God needs some help.
Yeah. Doug wants to know how often were they singing solos before they won the lotto?
Exactly. That's a valid question.
Yeah, and it seemed to me, that they were not. Like it said, now that once she gave that money, her family was put in the forefront.
Like a shifting is happening.
Yeah, like that a shift had taken place.
It's definitely not coincidental.
Right. Yeah.
So a conversation.
I don't even think it's definitely.
Yeah.
There's also
now
we're assuming this is a Christian church, but there's also scripture that talks about if you have aught against your brother, you need to go to them directly. And she just decided to make a scandal blast, and that was on Facebook, and that was utterly inappropriate. And so pastor needs to step up and Sunday morning, basically after the liturgy, after the liturgy, say that this has happened in a calm voice and state the way it should have been handled better. We are going to have a monitor from now on, and I need to speak with the leaders for a moment after service.
Right.
Because y'all ain't gonna be posted on Facebook like that on the church.
And to clear up with the leadership.
Why does the church have a Facebook page? But anyway.
Hey, ours has
announcements. Services are actually happening.
Yeah. And Vanessa is absolutely right here. I'm a church elder. A lot of personal things do happen in church, arguments and disagreements, etc., that ought to be brought to either a church elder board or a deacon who is over this, and then take it up to the pastor. and talk to him, because he might be unaware of it or not knowing that he's actually like favoring them. I mean, he's probably like happy that, hey, look, a lot of money's here. I like them. A lot of churches now are struggling. So
yeah, I thought that too, Greg. Yeah, just to piggyback off your point, I did think that when I first read the email that they may not even be conscious of it.
Yes,
and
I was thinking that as well.
That may not be what most people are thinking. Like Robin,
That's just sitting right there, seeing that one mother being honored on Mother's Day.
Right. If you didn't know,
Mother's
you knew then.
Day
Right. Yeah.
is sacrosanct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not gonna fly.
Right.
Pastor's sitting right there when Junie sings Sunday schools.
Well, they didn't say she was the only mother honored. It just said she was honored. They could have honored other mothers.
I thought it said the only mother, right? She's the only.
I got the impression she was the only.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that is definitely a problem.
And I don't think
which is why the person said, the more money you have, the closer your seat is to the Lord.
Pastor knew what was going on.
Sister Jenkins.
I love this question though. I think it's really good, and I think like we could talk about it.
He's got to take his part of it. He's got to. He's got to somehow, claim his part in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. That was wonderful. My Christian friends. I'm just like so grateful to have y'all in my life. Okay. So
you want to call people out for not getting receipts at the end of the year.
Get that lotto.
We're gonna talk about that later.
That's right, G. Deal with her.
Yeah, but another point, Alma, is that that like pastor had better settle this, because if that toxic thing goes on and on and on, it is going to split that church up and destroy it. I mean, I've seen that happen. So
that's what I say. He's got to do it Sunday. Whatever happens,
immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's got to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But as bad as I want to go to this next question, this popped in my head and I just can't let it go.
Let it out, Alma.
Maybe he doesn't want to cause friction with this family who has given all this money.
Too late. They've already given it. He ain't gonna give it back.
Right. And what about the other friction?
Yeah, you can't do that with the sheep.
Well, there's a dirty little like secret in a few churches. When there's a family that actually gives more, they try to like run it more, and I've seen that happen too.
That's right.
So
trying to run it and being allowed to run it are two different things.
True.
Yeah.
I'm
sure you don't want to say if these are the expectations, you can keep the money, and that's not the solution.
She might be paying the devil.
Well, this gets to the question. How did everybody? How did she present the money? Did Pastor say, "Sister Jenkins, come on down," or did she just quietly put it in the collection plate?
No, because how would
the other members know?
She put it quietly in the collection plate, and she had been on public access. Saturday before.
But with all the people who handle the money and handle the business, there's enough people in the business office or the leadership group that even if she did it quietly, it would get around.
That's right. It would get around.
Right. So everyone's going to know eventually, especially if it's a really large sum of money.
Yeah, we actually had a member, an elderly man, and he was a member for years. I mean, he dressed badly. He wasn't a fancy person. He would file in on the last seat, worship, leave right away. That man died. He left us like $100,000 and a beautiful note. So I mean, he never said anything. Yes, I mean, he never was like, "Hey, I'm rich. I'm gonna leave you money." He just came and he worshiped. He was a kind soul, and that was it. And so we actually found out after the man died.
So when he died, was his funeral at your church?
No, but they did. I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm gonna say it.
I'm sorry.
So don't. You don't know who's
Alma.
watching.
I'm sorry. I was curious.
He was
Why wouldn't it be?
cremated, and
Okay.
his like ashes are in our church garden,
Oh,
like a portion of it,
okay.
because
lovely.
it's where he wanted to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's very, very sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
it
why
was
wouldn't
sweet.
he?
His humble living is probably the reason he could leave $100,000 to the church.
Absolutely.
Alma, why wouldn't he be have his funeral at the church? What made you ask that?
Well, I asked Greg because he was saying that he came in a humble manner, sat in the back when service was over, he left. So I wondered if he had made friends or he had talked to people in the church, or because I know when my father was a minister, and sometimes the attention is overwhelming, and I used to slide in and slide out just for that reason. Like, I just couldn't handle it. I know me couldn't handle attention, but if it really, and people come at you thinking that you're different. It's like, I'm not. I'm just like you, and it's really uncomfortable knowing that they expect something different from you, and they are analyzing everything that you do and ready to dive into pounce on that word that you come out with that they disagree with, or they don't think you should have said or handled a situation a particular way. Yeah. So I just wonder if the guy just kind of slid in under the radar and left, because I know that is possible. Sadly, because of COVID, I watch my church online now, but even now, I slide in the church.
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking about this while you were speaking, Alma, and Gail brought it up. She says, if you don't pay your tithes, you can't have your funeral at the church, no matter how long you've been a member. And I know that some churches don't allow non-members to have any kind of service.
Yep. Weddings.
Or you have to pay, or you can pay.
That depends on the church, because
every church has a different policy. Right. No, absolutely not.
I was at a church once, and I saw a disturbing thing. It rattled me for a long time. I never wanted to even visit them anymore. So they had a collection, right? And so we all kind of marched up. We put our money in a plate at the front. They then had a procession for all of the tithers. So if you were a tither, you got up and you walked around, and everybody was doing this. And I think that the Bible says one hand should not know what the other hand's doing when you're giving. And I said, I'll never go back to this church again as long as I live. It's in Columbia, Maryland. I'm not going to say which one.
That's where I live. I know which one it was.
Oh, uh-oh.
I visited a church where they had a spreadsheet.
I won't say it either, but I'll check in with you. I know which one you're talking about.
I visited a church that had at the back of the program had a spreadsheet that had every member's name and what they had.
The names and what they gave?
And what they paid each week. It was 4 weeks, and then the total for the month listed in the program. And I thought, I'm a visitor. That's not my business. I mean, it was bizarre to me. But not to speak of churches, there are plenty of churches that do wonderful things.
We're going to skip the last question. We'll save it for next week.
Okay.
I did have a question come in to ask Alma, though, now that we're talking about it and have kind of shifted over to tides a little bit. This woman said that her pastor, oh my goodness. Okay, I don't want to say the whole thing because I do want to use the question, but part of it was the pastor was emailing people about their tithes.
Look at what Janine said. Look at the message. Janine says she went to altar call for prayer and was told if she tithed more, things would change.
Salvation is free. You don't have to.
Good Lord.
That's kind of in that whole prosperity. Give me some money for this prayer cloth and your life is going to change.
Right. Or the water.
But to be told that right there at the altar, that's crazy.
You know what? I got to tell y'all this because it was so funny. When I was 12 years old, Niecy McBride and I went to a church because actually my dad used to tell me to go to different churches, go to Catholic churches, go to all kind of churches to figure out what works for you.
That's good.
But anyway, I remember we went to this church, I won't name it, in Alexandria, and we thought that we were going to altar call.
Thanks, Gill.
But it was, I guess it was the part where you join the church. Really, it wasn't, because I know that part. Like, my dad was a minister. I would not have gotten that part confused. But they took us to the back like we had asked to join, and we didn't. We were only going down for altar call.
So what do you say?
For prayer.
Right? Well, when they went around the corner, we ran out the side door.
That's what you do.
What did you do?
I've done
it. Altar prayer.
We ran out the side door.
He ran out too.
Opening the doors of the church means different things at different churches. And you just got to kind of know the church. But what I did want to say in terms of tithing, what tithing is supposed to be the way you honor God. This is, I'm thanking God because everything I have because you gave it to me and I'm giving it back to you. It's not supposed to be, a
production,
whatever people are making it out to be. It's the way to honor God with your.
And I also heard your tithing doesn't always have to be money.
Yeah.
It can be your time and what you do. Robin, sit back up in your chair. Well,
Alma, you are right.
I went to a church that had a member line up according to the amount they were giving.
That's my sister.
Anyone under 100 or less lined up together.
Oh, that's
I've seen that
your sister, Vanessa?
That's your Robin. That's some church.
I've seen that too.
Congregations vote on a person's membership. God never asked us or anybody for a dime. All he asked us for us to believe in him. Healing and everything he did, he never asked for anything but to believe.
Okay, back to the question.
Vanessa answered it right the first time, right off the bat. She nailed that. She nailed it. It's up to the leadership.
It's leadership.
It's up to the leadership, and they should say something. Robin, stop reading your text messages and recap what you were.
No, I was just looking for this. I was thinking of the scripture that says, "Would a man rob God?" And you can't rob God of time. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about tithing, I know that people say that, and of course, if someone is homeless or pauper or whatever, you do the best you can. But I think we stretch that.
Well, I think the tithing of the time is about people who come to church for years and years and never give of their time. You know how the daycare ministry always needs teaching. Nobody wants to do the parking lot ministry. No, it's
nobody. I was saying instead of.
No, I didn't say instead. I said no. I meant I didn't mean instead. I meant it could be a part of your time.
Part of right.
Yeah, that you because I think everybody should do what makes them feel comfortable. But I do have to say, when I tithe, my life is better. And that's not why I tithe, but I can't help but know that that's in the back of my brain. That when I do things, it's just unbelievable. But I also feel good that I am helping,
giving and helping.
I hold, even if I loan somebody money or I do something for somebody, I don't want you to do anything for me, because there is some kind of verse. Sister Robin and Sister Vanessa, y'all probably know this better than me, but it says what you do
and
in
here
the dark,
we are again.
God will. You know me and you, girl.
In the corner, she couldn't possibly
and Greg, I know he knows, but it says what you do in the dark will come back to you. So I much prefer to do things for people. Don't tell nobody.
Well,
between you.
Why did you say that to the first letter writer that was giving out,
cars
and stuff? Thinking,
but you would do that.
She wasn't doing it in church. That was an aunt who said, and I said, I don't think you can pay somebody to do something. Remember, I said I too thought it was two separate things. Talk to them, but don't say she bought you a car.
As if it's connected.
Because remember, I'm the teenager that didn't even know. Would be oh yeah, you did give me a car, didn't you? I forgot. I was that teenager.
Lord.
So sadly, people would invite me to things. I show up at their house the next day. Oh, was it yesterday? I'm really? I was so bad as a teenager and as a young person. I really didn't do it purposely. Honestly, that's why I stretch myself when it comes to young people. I try to understand them. Although I do think if you borrow money from a family member, you need to pay them back. I'm strongly for that.
That's another conversation, right?
Different conversation.
That is another conversation.
There's a difference between give me and can I borrow. Right. And I made a point to teach my son that, because if you ask me for something, if you ask me to borrow it, I expect it back. And so does everyone else that you say use that word with. Yeah. So you should be mindful of that, because they give it to you thinking they're going to get it back.
Hi, Carmen. Carmen says hello. Hey, Carmen. I was at her.
Hi, Carmen.
At her house last Tuesday.
How come I don't know Carmen and all y'all know Carmen?
We don't know Carmen. We just speak. We speak to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. How y'all know her?
What department does she work at? Was she in sports or was she in news?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. You know what? I have to say this. I usually wait until the show is over, but Vanessa and Greg, please come back and sit on the panel with us. This was just way too much fun, and it went by way too fast. Thank you both for spending.
It was so nice to meet you, Robin.
Nice to meet you, finally, Greg.
So thank you, everybody else, for watching. Carmen, Mary Lou, Sharon, DeSheryl, everybody, Michelle, everybody, Pat, all of you, Tracy, Gail, Demeen, everybody who comes out and spends every Tuesday night at 7:00 with us. We absolutely appreciate you more than you know. So everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you next week, right?
Saying bye from the back pew.
Go slide in and slide right on out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.